How's it going, YouTube? Here we have a match you would not expect every day. We have Gacha Green, played by myself, going up against Gabubon. So this is the Gabubon where you still play the hybrid package because Matt is a blue tamer and there's a bunch of benefits. As for my gacha build, you get to see, check it out. You'll see that I do play a bunch of hybrids myself. The idea being that, you know, the gacha engine is really the level 5s and my 4s are free to still be the hybrids. So for gacha, you want to get into your level 5s, Jagamon and the Taramon as soon as possible, and then swing and get some free level 6s. So I play a bunch of level 6s. In this game, my opponent is off to an aggressive start, setting up double mats and just swinging. Looks like I don't have a level 4, but we can just hard drop our level 5. My Taramon is only 5 play cost. Looks like I'm just setting up more tamers as a way to memory choke off of the JP, you know, only 1 cost Digivolution. He's got triple mat with the good Gabu in the back, so already super scary for me. Honestly, what a crazy start for my opponent. We're gonna just be swinging, and I guess finally setting up the Tortomon for some gacha shenanigans, right? Now at this point, the Gabubon is scary for sure, right? It's pretty terrifying. But, you know, I do think that it might be an overextension for my opponent here. He's got multiple tamers to work with and a bunch of memory. He does go into the Gabubond right away. It is going to cost him most of his security. Now he's able to do 3 checks and answer my board, which is why this is a pretty good play, right? Gabubond is still just so insane. We hit another JP, which is nice, but I mean, we already had a Mimi set up, which is pretty solid. But yeah, the Gabubon is so strong, although you usually see it being played as a finisher, right? In this case, he's not able to finish the game off unless he's got double Hammer Spark plus hybrid, which I guess is a world which he does have that. Again, Gabubon very, very scary. He ice walls me, which is, you know, definitely smart. He does have to pass over 3 memory, however. So with double Mimi, a JP, and a Digimon, I need to figure out how we're going to swing without spending extra memory. And the way to do that is to just use the double Mimi, right? So he only has 1 security because the Gabubon trashes on 2. So we swing first, paying for the effect. For the ice wall, we could still, you know, use our Turtle to Digivolve into the Turtle, gain a memory. So yeah, the whole gacha, you know, it's not a chance if we can guarantee it, and that's why the Tortomon is so good. And hey, that's game 1 going to us. Honestly, we didn't do too much that game, just like hybrids to swing with, and then he took self-damage with the Gabubond. But you can see why the Gabubond is so powerful and why it does work with the hybrid package, right? Like, Matt is such a good tamer. He's a blue tamer, and when you use the Matt effect, he doesn't suspend or anything like that. So you can still just Digivolve right over the Matt on top of that. Going into game 2 here, we're going to see how this is going to go. It's a matchup that, you know, we definitely don't have too much experience with. Although, you know, I don't know, like, it's just local games. We're just having a good time. Like, that's the beauty of Digimon, right? I definitely want to show up a variety of decks on his channel. And, you know, I had Gacha Green for a while. I hadn't really played it too much because I'm playing other stuff. But I was like, you know what? Let's bust out the Gacha Green. Try and get some good YouTube content. See if we can get some good games. So again, you see that, like, my hybrid package definitely is pretty solid. And it doesn't stop me from running, like, the full gacha engine, basically. The only thing is that you'll notice that I don't run the double tamer, Issy and Mimi. But I feel like you just don't really need it. He goes into the Kendo. So again, this is, you know, post Digifest. We have no side deck. He's just main decking that card. In Kendo Roman's pretty solid. Goes into the Beowulf. Really expensive, to be honest. We're going to just stay in and go straight into the Jagamon. So pretty good setup. He's able to recycle his hybrid. Beowulf surviving. But next turn we should have a guaranteed level 6 for essentially free. Thing about the gacha is that, you know, you get those essentially very, very cheap Digivolutions. And sometimes you have to take a chance and it whiffs. But again, with the Tortomon, we can guarantee it. Tortomon's super sick. And my list runs, you know, a ton of level 6s. So we should have one to work with. Again, because I do run the hybrid package, you know, the Ancient Beetle is one of my level 6s. He's just a great level 6 in general. As you're going to see, we're going to get, you know, good value, trashing the top security, and then on deletion, he can still play the other hybrids. So just a good level 6, 4 green. We get to Digibol into it essentially for, you know, pretty much free, and then just set up another JP. I don't know if I have that many hybrids in hand, but hey, you know, JP is a good way to pass turn without overcommitting too much. Having a rookie that can be bounced by Beowulf or something like that. Now the thing about the Gabubon deck is that like the Mat Tamer is insanely strong, but obviously it only works with Gabumons, right? So in this case where like he's got the mat set up, but he's forced Digimon into a Strabby, I feel like, you know, it's fine. It doesn't feel that bad. Looks like we might not have a rookie, so we're going to just Digivolve into the Beetle. Beetle in this deck could be a big whiff. He cannot get the Mimi. Hey, but he can find another Beetlemon and then gives me another target for the other JP. We're going to just be swinging, going honestly very aggressive here with both my Digimon surviving. Going to just go into the Beetle as a way to pass turn and memory choke. Still get the search, and luckily we are able to find at least one hybrid off of it. I'm in a pretty good spot, I would say, right? Like the Ancient Beetle's putting in good pressure. We have 3 bodies to work with. But here's where Hammer Spark's going to come into play, and like, you know, one Hammer Spark this turn. Swings of gets the draw of the Upa. If he has another Hammer Spark, is really strong. You can go into Beowulf and then essentially clear most of the board. Yep, double Hammer Spark one turn. You know, it's just the power of blue, right? Like you give them a little and then they could just get so much. He's able to fully clear my board basically. The Ancient Beetle survives but is frozen in time. So pretty solid plays from the Gabubon player. Sets up another Tommy. So we have to start rebuilding. Luckily, I do finally pick up a rookie. Ideally, we build in the back and set up for another Gacha level 5 swing. Hidden Potential being used to Digivolve into the Chaos Balduron. I feel like I guess I just wanted to clear the Beowulf. As long as it's there, my Ancient Beetle is never going to get to attack. And I do play Terrier, which is fantastic in this matchup. He's already used double Hammer Spark, but you know, Terrier is still going to be pretty solid. The idea there is that it's like I put him at, you know, 1 memory and we have 3 swings next turn, and he already used all Hammer Spark, so I'm like, okay, there's no way he could get out of this situation, right? I'm in such a good spot. But Ice Wall comes down. Ice Wall is definitely going to save him, at least buy him another turn. But man, I was in such a good spot to close the game out. Ice Wall is a one-off, so it's unfortunate that he had it, but you know, such is life. Gonna Digivolve over the Tommy. It's Kuma, so he's not going to get the freeze. But we are under Ice Wall, so I cannot just go for game this turn. I don't want to pass over too much memory. And hidden security is kind of risky right now. Even though we have Terriermon, we could potentially hit into a Davis or something, and an attack costs 2 memory, so it's like super risky. So I think the idea here is just give him as little memory as possible. We just play another body. So now, once again, he only has 1 memory to work with. We have 4 attacks, and I have Terriermon to prevent shenanigans, right? So I feel like I'm in a pretty good spot. Sadly, he does have yet another Beowulf. Beowulf showing why he's so amazingly strong. Beowulf's going to be able to, you know, bounce a rookie and then freeze the Baldur arm. With that said, though, we're still not in the worst spot. I still have 2 swings, and he's at 0 memory. He hasn't had a rookie, which is definitely great for me. This game is pretty close, but it definitely feels like it is our game to win. Haven't been able to gacha into any other level 6s, but I think playing the rookies and just going wide has been a good way to try and close the game out. He plays Davis, which actually gives me quite a bit of memory to work with, and then you see he gets triple Gabumon. There's where all the rookies were hiding. So this time around, he's going to get, you know, 3 memory. We can't get a memory choke, and because Baldur arm is frozen, we cannot go for game. So this turn, it's a matter of like, okay, how could we ideally clear the Beowulf and also set up so that we could win next turn, right? Now, the Palmon does have a very good inheritable where if we attack a Digimon, we get plus 2000 DP, which is super crucial. We go into a Terrier in the back so that when we go for a game next turn, we have protection against Hammer Sparks. Because of the DP boost, we can actually just swing over the Beowulf, which is massive, and we still have memory to work with here. Now, I didn't swing with the Tentomon, which, you know, it's debatable whether that's the correct play or not. I think the idea there is that if I swing into a Sora Joe, I just lose the game and it's a bit too risky. Tentomon was free to swing, and it would have made it easier for me to close the game on next turn. That said though, if Tentomon had hit into, you know, like a Hammer Spark or a Sora Joe, it would have been really, really bad. But maybe we still should have taken that risk and swung with the Tentomon. So he does have memory to work with once again, and he's got the Gabu in the bag. He's forced the Digivolve over the Davis, which is good for us. But knowing that he has Gabu with the mat in the back is super scary, and he is going to be able to still stun my board and potentially prevent lethal. He's got yet another Hammer Spark. That's the third spark we've seen. Terramorph in the back, not able to stop that. He's able to go into the Beowulf, and now he can swing, bounce, and save himself from lethal once again. So I will say my opponent's done a fantastic job of staying alive. I feel like 3 turns ago we were ready to close the game out where he had like nothing, and he somehow found a way to stay alive turn after turn. So well done from him. Because of the freeze, you know, it's been such a struggle for me to close the game out. Here's where, you know, had the Tento swung last turn, then this game we could go Terriermon swing, hybrid for game, which is why I say that in hindsight, Tento swinging might have been the correct play. But like I said, it's always a risk against blue, and we didn't have Terriermon for protection against another Hammer Spark. There was nothing in security, but, you know, you never know. We can go into a blocker, but the blocker against Beowulf and everything, it's just not going to do enough, right? Now he's got the Gabu, he's got memory to work with, he's still able to bounce, and it's just going to be too many swings, and that's going to be hybrid for game. So again, really well done from the Gabubon player. He was definitely in the back foot that entire game, but through 3 Hammer Sparks, double Beowulf, he was able to get enough freeze and bounces to save himself. So really well played. I think looking back at that game, you know, it comes down to whether I swung with that Tentomon or not. But again, I don't necessarily regret it because it was, in my mind, still a big risk. You see that we haven't really been able to show us like a ton of the gacha shenanigans. But most of the time what ends up actually happening is that we have the level 5 and we can warp, if you will, into the level 6. And doing that once is honestly pretty good. Like going to a level 6 for 0 memory, potentially gaining memory if we go into the turtle. Like oftentimes that's good enough to win. Then it's a matter of using, you know, the rookies and the hybrids to close the game out. But obviously it depends. Against blue it could be kind of tough and we have to just build in the back until we have the level 5. And it's not always that easy. Anyway, we are going into game 3. I think this was round 1 in the tournament, so, you know, pretty early on. I definitely wanted to do well with Gacha Green. But, you know, as Gacha Green, I don't expect to, like, win a tournament or anything like that. He starts, again, with Matt, but instead of having the Gabu, he's got the Strabi, which is good for us. We have memory to work with. Luckily, we have Tortomon and the level 5. So, honestly, fantastic start. Could not ask for a better start as Gacha Green. That's exactly what you want to see. We're going to see if he's going to be more aggressive this turn. He's actually going to just hard go into the Kendo, which is very expensive, which passes turn. So honestly, pretty good for me. I expect that we are going to go and gacha into some sort of level 6. It's going to be the Nidhogg. Now, the Nidhogg is not going to answer the Beo because he's 6k, not 5k. But, you know, he's just a big boy, 13k, 16k with the Tortomon. So kind of funny, you know, we play a variety of level 6s in the gacha deck. Nidhogg is fantastic. I still love him. In this case, he wasn't good, but he was just level 6, and that's good enough for us, right? Playing the green memory boost, so we have options for the future. Again, I don't want to just like play Digimon for them to get frozen or bounce, right? But Nidhogg gonna be doing okay. There's the turtle in security. My security is pretty beefy because we play so many level 6s. Now, he doesn't have a rookie, but he's able to at least set up a Davis. So this Nidhogg is good to get chip damage. It's not going to die to anything in security except for the bond, which is unlikely. We have another Torto to work with and another level 5. So honestly, my chains have been absolutely insane. Like, have not whiffed once on anything, which is really good. And like I said, we play so many level 6s that it's so likely that I have a level 6 in hand. So this game has just been going really, really well. He Ice Walls to choke, which is pretty solid. We do need to attack to get our level 5 effect off to, you know, get the warp. So it looks like I'm still going to do that. Want to just guarantee that we have the level 6. Could choose to go into another Nidhogg, but in this case, the Ancient Beetle is definitely better. And we do have to pass turns, so funny enough, in that case, it was an expensive level 6. That said, I think it was still correct to do that. Now we know that Ice Wall is gone. My opponent's getting pretty low in security. He does have a Gabumon and Matt, so he could go into Gabubond. but I would be okay with it because the Gabubon doesn't, you know, tuck the level 6s. Surely he could swing over the Ancient Beetle, but then that's an attack that he's spending to do so. And then he'd still have to pay up, you know, his security to do that, right? So I feel like we're in a good spot. This game is just showing like we're able to get into our level 6s very quickly and for a relatively cheap memory, right? Just spending 2 on the champions and then 3 on the level 5. There's a Sora Joe, you know, showing that he still plays Sora Joe, and I think it was okay for me to respect him in the last game. He's gonna swing to just get rid of sources. But my dudes have a lot of sources, so it's not that easy. He does have a multitude of tamers to work with, and since he has 2 security, I likely am not able to close the game on next turn. He did already use the Ice Wall though, but you know, last game he did a excellent job of staying alive. We're gonna see if he could do it this time. I think the difference is that on game 2 we had a bunch of like rookies that could be easily bounced by Beowulf, but this game going straight into level 6s, you know, he's not really able to answer those. He's got to spend a lot to like strip him of the sources and then get the freeze on them, which he just has not been able to do this game. He's doing a good job of chipping at my security though, and like I'm getting low and I shouldn't be able to close the game at this turn like I said. But we have 2 memory to work with, 2 level 5s, and a memory boost. So I was trying to think like, is there a way we could close the game out? We could trash security if I swing over the Kumamon somehow, but that still only gives me 2 swings. I also don't have Terriermon, so security is kind of scary, but I think we're just going for it. So Nidhogg's going to swing at security, hitting into a Tommy. And at this point I have a pretty spicy play as long as security doesn't save him. So we're going to just swing with the Ancient Beetle, hits into a Davis, which I'm super happy to see because it was not a Hammer Spark. Because now we could do this amazing play where we're going to Terriermon, we play Mimi, and then have the Terriermon swing for game. I hope you guys enjoyed that. Thanks for watching.